Some people think that when you plant a food forest, you're done. But in reality, management is what determines if a system will thrive or struggle over time. In agroforestry, everything is competing for light, water, and space. And if you don't guide a system through pruning, planting, and observation, you end up with a system that is overcrowded, shows weak growth, and has low yields. So today is not about planting. It's about why management matters and what that looks like in a real system. So we're out here, I'm out here at Everoak Farm as we work this 200-foot agroforestry row as a part of my apprenticeship here at the farm. And I wanted to bring you along as Mike walks the line with us and talks about his approach to managing this system. Mike, before we actually jump in, can you just introduce yourself and then walk us through what we're going to be doing here today?
Yeah, I would love to. So, uh, as you said, I am Mike, and I'm the owner and operator here at Everoak Farm. We really embrace agroecology and have a lot of agroforestry systems throughout our farm. Really believe trees and perennial systems is the true sustainable regenerative way of agriculture, and also working and reforesting our earth because the earth wants to be a forest. So we're here in this back system. The context behind this system is here at the farm we want to have a production of food, because at the end of the day we plant these systems, but they're only as productive as our management is. This is going to be a system that's with avocados, lychees, and finger lime. This past winter we experienced a historic freeze, so there's a lot of resets that we have to do. Which was a beautiful thing to see this historic freeze happen, because it shows a lot of flaws within the design and where I miss successional planting, because now we have a lot of empty gaps here. But now this gives me an opportunity to bring in a reset and start filling in and reset the system, since we had an ecological disturbance. So now we lost a tremendous amount of papayas in this back system and moringas. So now we need to bring it down to bring in more light and to recycle all this beautiful carbon material that we generated here on the farm and feeding it back into the soil. So I never look at it as a big loss. And I hope everybody out there that experiences natural disasters, at times it is heavy on us because we put in all this work, but it is part of the ecosystem, and learning to work with it. Yes. And accepting and learning from it. So within this whole system that we're going to manage today, we're going to focus on this 200-foot line here, which I'll step back a bit. This whole system is 45 feet by 200. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main perennial line. And in between, we also have our annual crop lines. I took advantage now, since this ecological disturbance happened, we now have a tremendous of sunlight coming back into the forest. And so I'm taking taking advantage of that and growing these placenta species that are emergent and high strata crops. For example, broccoli being a high strata emergent crop, and with sunflowers being emergent. So meanwhile, as we're resetting and these perennial systems are now flourishing back as we replant these, I'm also taking advantage of planting things there to hold in that space and time. So we're capturing and harvesting energy into the system, and also nourishing ourselves and the ecology around here. So today, like I said, we'll get back into this one line. We have a lot of moringas that got toasted, and they're not completely dead. They're now starting to resprout from the root. But unfortunately, the main stem it's done. So we're going to chop and drop it. Once we're done pruning, then we can come in and we'll start dropping our seed cocktails, and we'll go ahead and fix all of our gaps. Because right now I'm seeing where all the weeds are showing through. It's because I've never planted something to occupy that space and time. So nature took it upon itself to choose what was going to grow there. But now we're going to come back and reset that and chop down those weeds and put in the ecological support species that we want to manage into the system. All right, so the pattern within this line, we had moringa, finger limes, papaya, oak leaf hydrangea, and then that pattern, moringa, then banana, papaya, and that pattern kind of repeats. I try to always keep a certain pattern because it makes it easy on the form of management. So yeah, so the goal is now just chopping and dropping. And as we chop and drop, we're running everything parallel with the beds. But I want to work it in manageable segments. So I'll come up here, cut it off first. And then the goal is you want all this to lay flush to the ground with little air gaps as possible. Once you have air gaps, it's going to dry off much faster. And making sure as we're chopping and dropping this material, I'm also standing and pushing it down to really have that good soil contact. Because
Okay.
then now all that mycelium can actually come and inoculate it. The moisture is being retained. The more you have these little air pockets, they're going to dry out, and then mycelium and all the decomposing insects aren't going to have that ideal habitat. But eventually it will break down, but the goal is to accelerate that process.
Okay.
Then the next step is to compass it. And we have this regrowth here, so get it to the bottom. And then again, I drop this on the other side and put this in between. This is our higher climax species. So most of everything here are secondary species. This is what we really want to focus on. This little thorny finger lime. And some of this did get affected by the freeze. So some of the dead stuff we're going to trim off. Being mindful with this particular plant because it does have thorns, and just cutting off the dead part. And I also want to start shaping this plant, so I'm also going to go ahead and start stripping out and as I cut this down, you see that I'm organizing the material. So we're also going to lift the canopy or the skirt of this tree and actually shape it, so just to encourage more airflow to it. And so down the line, we could also have the plant focus on the energy and the branches we really want to express. This one's a little wild. Try and create a new leader. And when we're pruning our main climax species, depending on the plant and the tree, this eventually I wanted to scaffold up and create this little shrubby bush here. This is our medium strata climax species here. So yeah, just quick little light pruning here, just to open up the canopy. Any branches that are crossing over, we want to avoid. And yeah. Remove that. And that's it.
Oh wow, you really cut that down. You really opened it up in the middle.
Yep, that's what I want to start shaping it. Get all these little strands. Because if not, then it's going to put more energy into that. And the earlier I can get the shape that I want, the better. So it can really put the energy into these branches other than stretching it among itself. So you can see I did choose my main scaffold, like my main branches. And then I'll leave this because you also want to make sure there's a little still leaves on here to photosynthesize. All the dead Lucana branches, just cut it as close as possible you can to the soil line if you got pruners. So I'll let you just do that ahead and I'll focus on the larger trees.
Okay. Thanks for joining me on the trail today. Let's grow.